So hi, I'm Jen Vanderhoven, Director of the National Horizon Centre. Thanks for joining us today for In Conversation with the NHC, where we talk to key leaders about current and future challenges and opportunities in the bioscience and healthcare sectors. Today I'm talking to Derek Willison-Parry, who's the CEO of Lakes Biosciences, and Pat McIver, who's the Chief Operating Officer, also at Lakes Biosciences. So thanks for joining me today. Great to see you both. Do you want to start by just telling me a bit about yourselves and your careers to date, and then how that's led on to the formation of Lakes Biosciences and what your kind of ambitions are?
Sure. Thanks, Jen. As you said, Derek Willison-Parry, CEO Lakes Bioscience. I've had a career in pharmaceuticals. I worked for GSK for 25 years or more, all over the place, mainly as an engineer, building facilities, and then moving into operations management, looking after managing factories. And then I ran operational excellence for GSK, taking care of the performance of about 85 of the factories around the world, and latterly looking after the supply chains for the launch of new products for GSK. Since then, I've been doing general consultancy in the biopharm world, and latterly become very interested in the notion of bringing back large-scale manufacturing to the UK. I think part of my career, I worked in China and Europe. I worked in the US for a while, always building the capability as best I could. When I come back to the UK, it's clear that it doesn't exist here in the same way that it does in UK, in Switzerland or US or what have you. So my ambition for Lakes Bioscience is that it really brings back that large-scale biomanufacturing to the UK, and then we can continue to build as a country from there.
Thanks, Jen. So I'm Pat McIver, Chief Operations Officer for Lakes Bioscience. My background is in the pharma industry with GSK for around 30 years, in commercial and later manufacturing roles, where for a period of time I led sterile manufacturing. Prior to taking the lead for GSK at Ulverston on the plans that the company had at that time for a new biopharmaceutical facility in Ulverston, and I think people know the story there. So I left GSK a couple of years ago and have teamed up with Derek and other former colleagues from GSK and Novartis to take forward the plans for Lakes Bioscience in Cumbria.
Brilliant. So tell me a bit about Lakes Bioscience and what it's trying to do in Cumbria.
So Lakes Bioscience is trying to take advantage of a window of opportunity to get that large-scale manufacturing back in the UK. In Cumbria, the window of opportunity has opened because GSK have been downsizing for some time at a place called Ulverston, and actually announced a couple of months ago that they were going to finally close completely by I think it's 2025. They've kindly given a whole piece of I think it's about 70 acres of land to the local council for development. So we've taken up advantage of that, and also advantage of the fact that GSK had already done some design and some planning permission work 2 or 3 years ago. So we've kind of taken the land opportunity and also resurrected the planning application, which we've now received, to be able to build a pharma plant there. And also because GSK are downsizing, we've got a ready opportunity to the most important thing, which is the skill set of the folks who are currently working for GSK, many of whom have transferable skills for a modern biopharm facility. And we are starting to work with the likes of CPI and the catapults and whatnot to show to the government what we represent in terms of putting that last piece of the jigsaw, which is the large-scale biomanufacturing that then starts to really give the UK a complete picture of the biomanufacturing space. to support its world-class discovery and medicine development as well. So we've got a kind of practical window of opportunity, and we think we've also got a kind of strategic and policy window of opportunity as well. So we've got funding lined up. We're starting to line up potential customers, potential collaborators with other contract manufacturing organizations as well, who are all short of capacity at the moment. And our ambition is to align all this up and jump through that window.
Brilliant. So how big is the site that you're planning then? What capacity will you actually have?
Pat, you know more about that?
Yeah, so the footprint of the site is around the development site that we've obtained planning consent for is around 10 acres or so. The facility we're planning to build will house up to 12 by 2,000 litre bioreactors. So that'll give a sense of the sort of the overall size, plus all of the the ancillary and support areas and warehousing and so forth. We're also building in some overcapacity in terms of the building footprint to allow us to be flexible to emerging needs. We're very conscious of how needs have been shaped by the events of the last 12 months with the pandemic. Very conscious of the lack of sort of onshore capability in the biologics manufacturing space. So we are looking to retain a flexible portion of our space to be able to respond to future needs that may arise. It may arise out of this pandemic, or may arise in terms of preparing for future health security reasons.
Brilliant. So that follows on nicely to my next kind of question for you. So there's loads of current challenges that the UK faces in biosciences during the COVID pandemic and coming out of it. So in terms of what challenges and opportunities there are coming up, what do you think that the UK needs for research and funding, and where are there opportunities to collaborate to really bring the UK to the forefront of the biomanufacturing scene?
Well, I think in terms of the capability for discovery and early development, so that whole part of the research part of the R&D, I think we're pretty well catered for in the UK. It'd be difficult to point to any of the other major clusters around the world and see anything other than the UK competing right at the top of that. It's the piece from there on, that development through to commercialization, that appears to be much smaller than other countries. Particularly, I'm most familiar with the US. That infrastructure in the US is enormous, and it's growing stronger as well. Not just in the kind of commercialized technologies, MABs and so on, but in the newer modalities and the newer technologies as well. They're really getting their skates on in terms of the investment required into that. The upshot of that imbalance is actually, if you go and work on the east coast of the US or anywhere else for that matter, but it seems to be mostly in the east coast of the US, you see loads of people from the UK over there playing their trade. And it's a total exaggeration, but it seems to me if you want a really good career in biomanufacturing, then your first choice is go over to the US, where you'll get a good job. So I think it's really kind of leveling up that development commercialization piece to match the power that we've got in terms of the pure research and discovery. And I think that's something that I hope that Lakes Bioscience can play a small part in catalyzing that. And leading the way and putting the UK back on the map for inward investment by the majors. We have not been on that list of potential markets to invest in from a manufacturing perspective for about 30 years. And we're not there at the moment. If you talk to senior executives on the manufacturing side in all of the major biopharm companies, they wouldn't have the UK on their list of potential investment targets. So we must change that. We must get the same sort of infrastructure spending so that we can become that real powerhouse and be the equivalent of the area around Boston or on the West Coast or even Switzerland, or it's that kind of thing that we've got to get to.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in, Jan? I mean, for me, I think one of the areas where collaboration in the UK can be really most powerful in growing the industry is around skills. Hence the conversation we're having here today. We have a lot of people, but a lot of foundation skills for the industry, whether they're in R&D, whether they're in manufacturing, in GMP manufacturing, in small molecule. There's all sorts of foundation skills that we can build upon. And that's one of the areas that certainly we'll be looking to collaborate with the NHC, but I think the wider collaboration around the industry, pooling those needs to really help the UK to up its game is one of the areas of I think most benefit to, if you like, UK PLC, if we get it right.
Yeah, I like the point that you made earlier, Derek, around people going to the States to find a job. It would be great if we could retain some of that great talent in the UK and really create a vibrant workforce, and particularly in the North. So why do you think that the North is the best place for Lakes Biosciences?
Well, I think we've always, right from the off, seen this kind of axis across the North between Lakes Bioscience, National Horizon Centre, CPI. You've got everything you need in order to be able to use what I also think is a valuable legacy. So in Ulverston, I mentioned that GSK are downsizing, but it's not like it was ancient history. So that understanding and that culture that you need so people understand what's important in the name of GMP manufacturing and all that sort of stuff exists here. So it is important that there's that legacy culture to work within, as well as those practical elements of being able to develop the processes and develop the people and bring those teams together. We've got the environment that all works in, and all supported by brilliant universities, and the rest of the innovation community seems to be very well represented in the north of the UK. So and I think I've got a good judgment for that, having worked all around the world and seen where these successful nodes have agglomerated and then grown, and it takes some government policy to encourage all that sort of stuff. But what it actually comes down to is people who are able to come together and form the teams that fill the factories and all the rest of that sort of stuff, and how well they're supported, and how good that tertiary education is, and then the support in terms of developing people through their careers, and that most certainly applies in the Boston area or in Switzerland. Universities have tuned into it and people have tuned into it. Well, we already have people who are tuned into that kind of stuff. So as long as we tune everything else, you can't fail.
Right.
Look, if I can comment, I take confidence in the appeal of the area to people to come and work in this industry from the history here. Several generations have worked in the industry, in the pharma industry, in this location. The location has never struggled to attract highly skilled people to come and work in exciting, interesting jobs where people can have a real sense of the impact that they make in manufacture and supply of important medicines. And I think that multi-generational thing is important when it comes to aspirations for the younger people in the area, when they have family, parents, grandparents, cousins, uncles and aunts who've worked in this industry. They understand the value and the appeal of being involved in this industry. So all of those provide excellent foundations for really regrowing a strong workforce for the future. So it's a great place to do it,
and also a beautiful place.
Absolutely, right on the edge of the Lake District.
Yeah. So I guess finally, just to wrap up our chat, what is the next key things for Lakes Biosciences? So what are your next kind of key milestones?
So key milestone is the fundamental one, which is win some business and start building our facility. So that's what we're absolutely focused on at the moment. We're in seems like constant conversation with the government. Let's see how they can help us with that. I mentioned that we're talking with other contract manufacturing organizations around the world so that we can kind of work alongside them. We're also talking with some innovators who've got products that are suitable for COVID, but also beyond that as well. And finally, talking with the NHS as well about what purpose can a UK-based manufacturing facility serve for them. The British government are very keen on onshoring the supply chain for those critical medicines that may have kind of less robust supply chains that in the past have given us problems with shortages of medicines and whatnot. That applies to complex medicines as much as it does to simple day-to-day medicines as well. So the main thing is working with the folks who are going to be our customers to build up our order book, and then once we've got that, then we're off to the races and we'll start building.
Brilliant. That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm looking forward to working with you and helping make Lakes Biosciences a great success.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks.
Appreciate that. Thank you.